Leo learns about honesty. In a small, charming village surrounded by rolling green fields, life was simple and peaceful. The people there were friendly, hardworking, and trusted each other like one big family. Among them lived a young boy named Leo. Leo was a clever and lively boy with a mischievous streak. He loved playing around and pulling tricks on others. While his pranks usually brought laughter, sometimes they caused trouble too. Despite his playful nature, Leo had an important responsibility: to watch over the village's sheep. Every day after breakfast, he would lead the sheep to the pasture and ensure they were safe from harm. Leo knew this job was important. The sheep provided wool to the villagers and were a key part of their lives. But he couldn't help feeling bored sometimes. Watching sheep munching grass all day wasn't exactly exciting, and Leo constantly thought of ways to entertain himself. One sunny afternoon, as the sheep grazed quietly and the breeze rustled the grass, Leo was struck by an idea. A spark of mischief lit up his eyes. "I know. I'll call for help and make everyone think there's a wolf," he said to himself, unable to suppress a grin. Leo climbed onto a rock, cupped his hands around his mouth, and shouted at the top of his lungs, "Wolf! Wolf! Help! Please! There's a wolf attacking the sheep!" The sound of his desperate cries echoed across the village. In no time, the villagers dropped whatever they were doing and ran to the pasture with sticks, tools, and anything they could grab to protect the sheep. When they arrived, they found nothing. The sheep were peacefully grazing, and there was absolutely no wolf in sight. Instead, they saw Leo laughing uproariously, slapping his knees. "It was just a joke," Leo chuckled. "You should have seen your faces. You all look so scared." The villagers frowned. "Leo, you can't joke about something like this," said an elderly farmer. "We left our work because we thought the sheep, and you, were in danger." "Oh, relax. It was just for fun," Leo replied, still grinning. The villagers shook their heads and returned to their tasks, muttering about Leo's trick. A few days later, Leo found himself back at the pasture, feeling bored again. "That prank was pretty funny last time," he thought. "Why not try it again?" So once more, Leo climbed onto a rock and hollered at the top of his lungs, "Wolf! Wolf! Help! There's a wolf attacking the sheep!" The villagers heard his cries and ran to the field, worried about their beloved sheep. But when they arrived, they again found no wolf, just Leo, doubled over with laughter. "Not again, Leo!" exclaimed a younger villager. "You're wasting our time!" "It was just a joke," Leo said, snickering. One villager warned him, "Leo, if you keep lying, no one will believe you when you really need help." But Leo didn't listen. He enjoyed the excitement his prank created. He thought it was all harmless fun and paid no attention to the frustration building in the villagers. Days turned into weeks, and Leo continued watching over the sheep, often thinking about his funny pranks. One day, however, something felt different. There was an eerie quiet in the air as the sun began to set. The birds weren't chirping, and the sheep seemed restless, huddling together. Suddenly, out of the woods, a large shadowy figure appeared. It was a wolf. Its eyes glinted hungrily as it crept closer to the flock, ready to pounce. Leo's heart raced. For the first time, he felt true fear. He scrambled onto the rock and screamed, "Wolf! Wolf! Help! Please! There's a real wolf this time!" But unlike before, no one in the village came running. They heard Leo's screams, but assumed it was just another one of his tricks. "No one's coming!" Leo realized as panic gripped him. The wolf edged closer, its sharp teeth visible now. What could he do? The sheep were in real danger, and he was all alone. Although scared, Leo knew he had to be brave. He quickly looked around for something to help him. Spotting a stick nearby, he grabbed the stick and waved overhead. Holding the stick above his head, Leo waved it frantically, shouting at the wolf to leave. The wolf, startled by the stick, growled and backed away. Finally, it turned and ran off into the woods. Breathing heavily, Leo dropped the stick and sat down, trembling. He couldn't believe he had faced the wolf alone. After a moment, he glanced at the sheep, who were safe and unharmed, though visibly scared. Leo felt a wave of relief, but also guilt. If he hadn't lied before, the villagers would have come to help. His childish prank had made them stop trusting him, and now he'd had to face a real danger by himself. Walking home with the sheep that evening, Leo thought about what had happened. He replayed the moments in his mind, how he had cried for help, and no one came because they didn't believe him. He whispered to himself, "It's my fault. If only I had told the truth before." He knew he had broken the trust of the villagers, and trust wasn't something you could fix with a simple apology. That night, Leo couldn't sleep. He decided he needed to make amends. He wanted the villagers to understand that he had learned an important lesson and would never make the same mistake again. The next morning, Leo called all the villagers together in the town square. There was chatter as they gathered, some curious, others skeptical. When everyone was present, Leo stood on a wooden platform and began to speak. "Everyone, I have something very important to say. Yesterday, a real wolf came to the pasture. I cried for help, but no one came. And I don't blame you because I lied before. I played tricks on you and I broke your trust. I'm very sorry for that." The villagers exchanged quiet glances as Leo continued. "I realize now how important trust is. Without it, we can't work together or keep each other safe." His voice quivered slightly as he added, "I hope you can forgive me and trust me again someday." The villagers listened carefully. They could see the sincerity in Leo's eyes and hear it in his voice. After a moment of silence, an elder stepped forward and said, "Leo, trust is something that takes time to rebuild. But we can see that you've learned your lesson. We forgive you, and we'll give you a chance to show us that you've changed." Relief flooded Leo's face, and he smiled gratefully. He knew he had a lot of work ahead of him to prove his honesty, but he was determined to do it. Over the following weeks, Leo worked hard to show the villagers he could be responsible. He completed his tasks diligently, and whenever he made a promise, he kept it. Slowly but surely, the villagers began to trust him again. One evening, as Leo sat watching the sheep graze peacefully under a golden sunset, he felt a deep sense of pride and understanding. He had learned something invaluable. Honesty is the foundation of trust, and trust is what holds a community together. Through his mistakes, Leo had grown into a more thoughtful and responsible person. The sheep were safe, the villagers believed in him again, and Leo never felt the need to pull a dishonest prank again. As the story concludes, viewers are reminded of the key moral learned in this story: always tell the truth. Honesty not only keeps us out of trouble, but also ensures we can rely on and support one another. Remember, pranking can be really dangerous at times. Be careful how you prank people not to put their lives or your own life in danger. Prank destroys trust. Honesty builds trust and keeps everyone safe, so always remember to be truthful. Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to our channel, Fairy Tale Spot, and click the like button. We post new videos like this regularly.